Well, hey there. Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
Ladies, I'm going to hit you out of the gate with something. Are you ready for this?
No, I'm nervous.
Dun,
Anytime
dun, dun.
you do this, it's like, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Well, I saw this quote in the group, and this was from Jonathan, who's also a WW coach.
Mhm.
And he shared this poster that said, on your list of things to do this week, don't forget to put down, take care of myself.
Huh.
Isn't that great?
I love that.
So, if you look back on the past week, can you think of anything that you did where you intentionally took care of yourself?
I've been doing my old trusty walking. And I know that sounds, but what I've been doing is finding new trails. So that's
Ooh.
part of my mental health because scenery recently has been a thing for me. Like, because what surrounds you kind of puts you in a certain feel. So I used to just like maybe mall walking is one thing, but like walking down a new trail, like with the leaves or the foliage, it just puts you in a different mood. So I found a new one and it's beautiful and I got 10,000 steps, but more so than that, I left feeling at peace because I didn't have any type of phone on me or even music. I just
I'm sorry, did you go walking in the woods without some kind of contact?
let me put it like this. The phone was there that I could have picked up, but I didn't
Okay.
have it.
I'm like, that's brave.
Like, I'm not
I just
crazy.
need to make sure. Okay.
And people were around. It was very much not like in a place where I'm just like this secluded person, like you'd see on like the ID channel where it's like
It's like it started on a cold.
I was right there. I was so serene with you. And then you said I didn't have my phone and I instantly went to a
I
true
should have been
crime.
clear. I didn't have my phone on like me to like listen to music or to like text. Sometimes you can.
Okay.
So
It was
there.
on your person,
On my person.
but not in your soul at that moment.
Correct. So
Okay.
to me, that was very self-care because, we're always connected all the time.
Mhm.
And something about even no music, just being with my
and
thoughts.
listening to the sounds of nature.
Mhm.
And right now, I don't know if you guys have noticed out on your walks, around here, there's a giant weed. It's a weed tree,
Okay.
but it is the greatest. It's called black locust.
Hmm.
And the flowers are on it look a little bit like wisteria, but it is the most fragrant, like honeysuckle like scent. I'm loving it. I'm sure you smelled it on your walk, Candice. I'm
probably
sure it
did.
was there.
I just didn't know what it was. And now that I know, I will stop and appreciate and say, you know what Erin said this is?
Mhm.
It's whatever the name you just said.
Black locust.
Okay.
Black locust.
And I only know because I took a picture of it and then used my iPhone plant finder and it told me what it was. I was like, oh.
Ooh, I like that.
I need that to make sure I don't touch stuff like poison ivy. Like
Yes.
that, I feel like that's where that'd be appropriate. Be like, oh, let me hold on. Let me use the plant finder. Just make sure.
Rikki, if you look back on your week, did you see yourself caring for yourself this past week?
Just going to the salon, getting new nails and just making myself feel relaxed in that moment. And, I don't get a pedicure that often because I feel like it's, the color lasts so much longer, but I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go for that too. And I'm going to make sure my feet are, massaged and I'm just in a better mood when I leave there. Definitely.
Is
What about you, Erin?
Yeah.
So my couch is one of those ones that if you pull out the bottom, it turns into like a bed kind of thing. It's what do they call those? That's not collapsible couch. It's, I don't know. It's something. It's modular.
Wait, not sofa bed. But
it's kind of like a sofa bed-ish, but it's not a sofa bed. It's one of those. It's like a modular kind of thing.
Okay.
Whatever. I pulled the little thing out. Your blankets that you guys gave me. I put a blanket on, and I watched. I don't even remember what I watched, but I watched a movie, and the main thing was I set my laptop down because I am engrossed right now in the kitchen renovation. And now now that the kitchen renovation is booked, I'm working on the bathroom and bathroom vanities. And I'm like, yeah, how hard can it be to do a bathroom vanity? Maybe I could be able to do this myself. And then I'm like, way overthinking my abilities, 100% out of my abilities, right? That's so magical thinking. But the important part, I put my laptop away, I put my phone away, and I just sat and watched a movie.
I love that.
And it was nice.
I love how also, you know, a lot of ours, Rikki, I love that yours is actually with a change, like actually pretty nails. And but Erin's, ours has to do with like getting away from the phone and getting away from technology, you know.
Yes, all getting away from the to-do list.
Yeah.
No to-do list.
Yeah.
The nice thing about the nail salon is you can't touch your phone. I've tried. It doesn't work.
See? Okay. 3 for 3. There you go.
There it is.
Although you do come out slightly more winning because then you also have pretty nails and feet. So
yes, there's that.
I probably need a little bit of more of that in my life. Let's just be honest.
I mean, you guys can join me anytime. I go once a month.
I know.
But I'm not doing I don't want people touching my feet. The idea of somebody massaging my feet is like,
I'm ticklish.
I'm very ticklish and I have to take deep breaths because I actually I my whole leg wants to spasm because I'm like, this is uncomfortable, but it's worth it for the massage. I chill out and it's a practice of self-discipline. And
she's like, I'm willing to do that. Whereas I come up with new languages. I'm like, no tick tick, no tick tick. I think that's like a thing. Like, why I could just say, don't tickle me. What is no tick tick? And I don't know. Like, it comes out inappropriately. Like, what?
I mean, they can also tell if you're just like, oh, like squirmy.
Well, it's
like,
not even that. They're like, you could just say, don't tickle me. And I'm like, no tick tick, no tick tick. This is why I don't get pedicures. They're like,
it's like your brain short circuits.
Do you really want this? And I'm like, I thought it would be fun.
Maybe
not. Maybe just polish the feet. I don't know. Is that just called polish change? Let's do that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We had a question inside of the Real WW Talk Facebook group, which, side note, you're welcome to come join us anytime you would like in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. But Laura has a question about being dubbed the healthy police. She says, I'm wondering how people handle being treated like the healthy police when family, friends, or in my case, coworkers make excuses for what they eat or decisions they make about eating or activity. I'm really only worried about myself. I don't need anyone to justify their choices to me. So how does anyone else respond to these types of situations when people come over and like confess their non-health sins to you? Have you guys ever been in that situation before? Gosh, this was a little bit ago. I was out to dinner with some work acquaintances, and the restaurant only had 2 things that I could eat: salmon and lettuce. And so I asked for a salmon salad, and they had no dressings that I could have. So I asked for lemon and some olive oil, which made me seem really healthy. And I was actually really peeved, not gonna lie. Like, this is not my choice. And so everybody was like, oh my gosh, Erin is like such a healthy, like, well, okay, well, I'll have this instead. I was like, no, please don't do that. Yeah. Please get the burgers and fries. I'm only eating this because I'm forced to. Mm-hmm. There are no other accommodations for me. But everybody around the table changed their order based on my salmon and lemon juice and olive oil dressed salad because they felt in some ways that they couldn't enjoy their thing, or my order was pressuring them to change their order.
Mm-hmm. I've had that. I think it happens more so around like dessert. I don't know why dessert can be such a triggering topic. Like, if I make a statement that we went to a restaurant, me and my mom group friends for a few weeks ago, and they wanted to get a dessert and I didn't want any. And they're like, well, you know, Candice is being healthy. We did just walk, so but I'm going to get a piece. And it's very like this thing where they're feeling like I'm judging them because they're getting it. And I'm like, I just don't particularly want it. Like, it's not even me trying to be good or bad. I don't personally want it, but I also don't care if you have it.
Also, side note, can you like you think back on the days when you're like working so hard to try and change yourself that you would be able to say one day that you're at a restaurant and you don't want
I just didn't
dessert.
want it. And it was more of a thing of like me having to not honor myself if I were to give in, you know, and do it. So I did verbalize, like, you don't even have to give all the justification because like, I want you all to enjoy this. I just am not because I don't want to. And that's all of this is good. It's all fine. So I can identify with that. I think that people are so insecure. You know, there's an insecurity or a fear of being judged. That I still feel we're trying to beat people to the punch. Like, I'm just letting you know, like, well, I'm not being healthy today. I'm not doing it. And you're like, well, I mean,
you do you, boo.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely can relate to that. You know, it working in a school, we have lots of opportunities for luncheons, and we had Teacher Appreciation Week, you know, a couple weeks ago, and you know, we have wonderful PTAs, and you know, different organizations donate food, and so there's an opportunity to have, you know, lunch served, you know, 2 or 3 times a week that week, and crumble cookies, all kinds of things. But you know, you get in line to get food and people are like, ooh, there's pizza. I'm just going to get 1 slice because, you know, who would eat 2 slices? You know, like you just get, and I don't think people mean anything by that, but it's like, I feel like everyone's kind of, especially it's a workplace, you know, full of women, like everyone's kind of eyeing everyone up, like, well, how many are they getting? Because sometimes I think it's like, I want to get 3 Lido's corners because Lido's is smaller. Like I want 3, but is anyone else getting 3? I mean, I'll admit I've done that myself. Looked at like, I don't want to be the one person who's getting 3 little corners when everyone else is getting 2. So I think there's a lot of like, I don't want to be food shamed, so I'm going to adapt my behavior to fit in with what everyone else is doing. Like, how many fourths of the crumble cookie are we getting, or you know, like which one of the salad dressings are we like? It does get nitpicky, and I think people do eye each other's plates and make judgments based on that.
Last thing I'll say about that too is it feels also the same when, have you ever noticed when there's a buffet or when food's been put on the table and no one wants to be the first one to start digging in?
Oh yeah.
Everyone just kind of looks around like, oh, it looks great. Aaron, go ahead. Rikki, dig in. Like, I don't have permission to just start because I don't want to be seen as like the foodie who's gonna like, so I'm trying to gauge how much is everyone putting on their plate just so that I can kind of match it. Like, everything is about not wanting to be judged, honestly.
I love there's one person in our family who's like, I'll go first because nobody else ever goes. And they like take the mantle on themselves, and they have for years. But then my dad always came up with the rule, like he's last, and he says, quote unquote, mama goes first. Because mama made the meal. So mama gets to sit down and eat first, and everybody else, mom's like, I can't sit down and eat. I got to make sure everybody has what they need to go do. And dad's like, nope, mama goes first. And we kids know, we stand back. And if mom hasn't gone, like nobody goes. And then she'll go, oh, fine.
Oh, I love that.
I always appreciated the skinny we had in some of my friend groups. You always have that really, really kind of thinner friend who also is really a foodie. And she's like, I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm going. And you're like, I love you because she sets the tone. She's like, and I'm not taking it. I'm getting seconds. You're like, I'm just doing it because she's doing it. And no one's upset about that. You know, I just needed somebody to say it was okay. But in the future, I challenge myself to go first because I don't need your permission. The food's out there. Let's do it.
Listen, and sometimes the way to get into it first is like, I'm going first because I don't want none of you touching the corner of that first. Right? I'm getting the corner before any of y'all people get into it.
My dad.
Well, that's the thing. I've missed out on food because I'm like, I'm gonna get in the back of this line, but the hot, you know, we have someone who'll bring in a casserole and there's like only 8 squares. So the first 8 people get it, and then you're like, well, no casserole for you. So I'm like, maybe I should just say, all right, I want to make sure I get that casserole. I'm getting in the line.
It's different in our family. With my dad, you can't be the person who lets him go first because he'll do things like dig in the middle of the casserole and like take a piece that like is one, it's not even like a perfect piece. He's like, I just want a corner. But you don't go to the corner. You go like in the middle of the thing and dig out this random like half oval. You're like, you are forbidden. Like, you're forbidden from going first. And
your dad's not doing that to my Thanksgiving dinner that I cook for y'all, is he?
He is. I think he has just gotten the permission to do whatever the heck he wants because he always thinks I'm just taking a little bit. I'm like, it's not about how much you're taking, it's where you're taking it from.
It's where you're taking it from, right?
Who takes it from the middle? Like
My dad does the same thing with brownies.
Really?
now I get him because I'm a center of the, but still do it as like a perfect piece.
Yes.
Right.
I feel like the one time, did you guys ever watch The Cosby Show?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
It's been a long
so
time, but yes.
there was the episode where Claire made a cake, a chocolate cake, and Cliff decided that he was going to get a piece of cake and he wasn't allowed to. And he cut that little bit out, right? And then he stuffed paper towels inside. And then he took the icing and kind of smooshed it back over top of it. I swear that's my dad.
Yeah.
That's my dad to a T. That sounds like your dad too, Candice.
Yeah, but he just doesn't have any shame. He wouldn't put any of the right. Like he'd just be like, it's just there. And it looks at you, and it just you're just so disappointed. But he also makes chitlins and makes the house smell like chitlins when you have beautiful smelling food. If you don't know what chitterlings are, they're horrible pig intestines, and it sounds as bad as it is. But he loves them, and he'll take. Like during Thanksgiving, I don't know how I got on this topic, but I have to finish it really quickly because he'll take a beautiful smelling house that has all these wonderful aromas, and then he will microwave chitterlings. And you're like, Dad, you do not like you don't like the holidays, you don't like people, because why would you do that? Like, but it's like something he loves. I know.
They do have a historical context, so maybe your dad wants to honor ancestors and slavery.
So as an African American, what I told him is we is free now. Like that was my joke. Like we don't have to eat the pig intestine. Like it doesn't have to be a thing. We're free. You listen, different parts.
I'll support it, but microwaving, I can't I don't really have a voice in that conversation. Let me just recognize that.
Aaron's whole beautiful turkey that smells so great is overwhelmed. And he said, well, that's what I like. And I said, it's just more so just like I'm offended by the casserole. I'm offended by this. And he knows it and he doesn't care.
I worked so hard on that Thanksgiving dinner and that house smelled so good. And your dad's microwaving that business over top of all that we've created.
For those who are of Africa, if you get it and you know what they are and you like them, God bless you. But when I don't, and I don't like how they smell, and it's a whole thing. So that's how I feel about people who eat in the center of the casserole, and like it's all the same offense. And there was this is not what our episode is about. But they were talking about what are other things that offend you, like that people do with food. Like someone said they're offended by people who bite things that are supposed to be pulled apart, like Kit Kats. Like you're supposed to break them.
String cheese.
They said it's a food rule that we've made up. It's not actually like a rule, but it's like who bites a whole Kit Kat without breaking off each of the different ones, or like who bites a whole Twizzler. Like, is that like offensive to you?
Twizzlers.
They said Twizzlers that could be pulled apart. There's but if someone took it and just bit the whole thing, they're like, I'm offended by that.
Or like the little Debbie's, the peanut butter ones that are like the layers. You need to peel layer by layer. You don't just like crunch into that. The nutty bars.
It's a food rule. You didn't know that was a thing.
I learned.
Just like you don't take the middle of the casserole. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like now we should save our topic.
I know. But anyway, let's go on to the other topic.
I mean, are we going to keep going with this? Because I got another one.
Keep going with this. We're going to save our topic for next week. And when you listen to next week's episode, you'll know why we didn't put it this week.
So I feel like this is now about taboo.
Yeah,
this is food rules. Okay,
yes,
go for it.
So, of all people, my old job, school nurse, she was notorious for like just doing things that were unexpected and inappropriate. So she was at the buffet. We had sandwiches. She took it upon. Yes, this is going where you think it's going. She built her own sandwich, but guess what? They were like already built sandwiches with like the lettuce and the tomato and she took apart like sandwich pieces to build her own sandwich. So she touched, our school nurse, touched different sandwiches and took like turkey out of one and cheese out of another and the bread of another thing. And then she put back the pieces that she, of the, that she didn't one to use, and then kept going. And everyone in line was like, just so you know, nurse so and so just had her hands on like half the lunch platter, so you might want to eat something else.
Honestly, there's a part of me that admires people like that. They know what they want and they're going to get it and they're going to do it. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like there's a little something in there that I admire about that.
Yeah.
And then I'm just so flabbergasted at the extreme lack of manners to those who are behind you.
Yeah.
That it's just astonishing.
It's like a case study. Like, you should be studied.
Yeah. I have to ask you though, are you all offended, or do you think people should be offended by those who, maybe we talked about this, if you order a steak out, if you're eating steak and you ask for A1 or some type of steak sauce before you've even tasted the food to see if it needs it? Like,
I thought you were going to say well done, because I offend people all the time. I'm like, cook.
Well, some are offended by the temperature. Yeah.
I want my meat to be like tough. Like, I want it to be chewy. It's okay. Like, I don't want to see any pink, any red. Sorry.
So it's all of the temperature, but others, like if you go to a fine steak restaurant, God forbid you say, I want A1. Do you think that that's offensive? Do you think like you should not?
I very distinctly remember my grandfather coming over to our house and my mom making steaks and her having A1 on the table, and my brother taking the A1, putting it on the plate, and he hasn't even had a bite of the steak. And he looked at me and goes, boy, he goes, do you not like the taste of meat? And my brother going, yeah. And he goes, well, why'd you ruin your mother's hard work?
So offended.
And I'm like, not that has stayed in our family forever. Do you not like the taste of meat? That like single, those family one-liners.
Yes.
A1 has not appeared in our house since that moment.
Oh my gosh.
Can I say something without being judged?
No, but we listen.
I don't know. I will try.
We listen and we don't judge.
We 100% judge.
My memory could be faulty, and I have always been a picky individual, but I was thinking, I don't think I've ever had A1 sauce, and I was like, when's the last time I've had steak? I don't know that I've had a steak in that form before. I've had steak, but you know what I mean? I've never had a
gone to a steakhouse and
I don't think I've ever had one, and I'm okay with that, but because I'm not eating blood. I'm not eating blood. Like I just need to
get it well done, Rikki.
Well, then I can pretend it's not blood. It's just juice. Like,
oh my god,
my dad, he only gets a medium rare.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like most steakhouses though are offering some kind of like a beurre blanc or some kind of a sauce to go along with it. Like, they've turned that into part of the experience. I almost feel like, to a certain extent, if you are getting some kind of a meat, you are expecting some kind of a sauce to go along with it. I think it's far less offensive today than it was maybe 25 years ago when my grandfather's ripping out that line. But I don't ever remember honestly getting steak out at a restaurant.
Okay.
And even if we did get steak out at a restaurant, usually they're putting like blue cheese crumbles or butter or some kind of sauce or something like that over top of it. I think that's probably the restaurant's way of controlling, okay, we're not putting A1 on this, but if they're going to have to do something, we're going to give them this.
That's what I was going to say. I think that the offense is with whatever type of sauce you use. Because like you said, a beurre blanc, right? They're like, okay, blue cheese crumbles. Okay. Ketchup. Like, I know somebody who, like, you think I'm joking. Like, I saw somebody and they dip their steak in ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
And like, how, even if you're not a steak connoisseur, you feel like maybe I shouldn't go to this fine dining restaurant and give me a side of ketchup for my steak and then wonder why people are offended. But my thing is similar to what we're talking about. What if that's just what the person wants? Are they allowed to want it?
Sure. I mean,
we what do we listen and we don't judge? Like that's
Right.
what they want, you know?
So I have a question, because I've been very like much considering if I can afford it in the next couple years. Like I'd love to go to Japan. It's just a very long flight and it's expensive to go there. As far as spending there, I've heard your money can go a long way and there's a lot of cool things there. But long story short, I was thinking about cultures and like being amenable to trying something new when you are in a new place. And I've always enjoyed going to sushi restaurants, but I don't get anything that's raw. The closest thing I'll do is like smoked salmon. Like that's the closest thing to raw I will ever eat. So, but I'm like, if I was in a different country or in somebody's home, like it's like I want to be respectful and I want to try it. That's probably the place to try it. But how do you guys feel about raw sushi?
I'm with you, Rikki. I don't eat raw sushi. Now, David does. Aaron, do you? Well,
I do.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the tuna, but I love the raw salmon. And I like the yellowfin too. So I love to get a poke bowl with the salmon. And that's usually mixed in some kind of a sauce. I thought you were going to the soy sauce route because and depending on which like sushi roll that you get, it's a very quote unquote like American thing to do where you're dipping everything into soy sauce and then you're like covering up the flavor of the roll when they've really worked hard to craft these amazing rolls. Like we've got Sushi King in Colombia, which is like, in my opinion, the greatest sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
Really? It's good. I've seen it. I just have never had it.
My favorite roll is they call it the double six roll. And maybe I think this is one it's special to this restaurant, but I'm sure for anybody who's listening right now, if you go to any other sushi restaurant, they have something similar, but they take the roll, they fill the inside of the sushi roll with cream cheese. They dip it in tempura. They deep fry it. And then they slice the roll into 6 slices. And then each roll or each slice has a different mixture. There's a crab mixture, a lobster mixture, a whitetail, scallop. I'm trying to think about it. It's a work of art. It's the greatest roll I've ever had in my life.
Well, then that's what I'm getting this week because that sounds amazing.
It does sound wonderful. I feel like tempura.
Say that again.
It's called Sushi King.
Sushi King in Colombia. And it looks like it used to be right next to the MVA in Colombia.
Oh, I know where that is. It's like an old bookstore there.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. It's like this little kind of hole in a wallish space that you're like, oh, and then you go inside and it's beautiful. Like this roll is like $25. Like this is not inexpensive, but I really think if you are going to do the raw sushi, it's coming down to the best quality and you are going to an established sushi restaurant and you don't play around with it.
We're going to have so many people who are going to come to Maryland and Columbia and be like, you know what? This is what we heard. We're going to try it.
And my biggest, like, it's so sad for me because I can't eat it.
I was going to say you can't eat it. When you were describing it, I was like, hold on.
This tells you what a hold this sushi roll has on my life.
Okay.
I need it.
Been that long.
It's been that long and it's there.
I'm curious, what your experience with this is, Aaron, but with people with allergies, I've heard a lot of people say that other people in other countries don't have the same type of allergies and allergic reactions. When you went like to Israel or to other places, did you experience any foods where you were like, oh, I may have had an issue with this in the States, but no.
People who say that don't have allergies.
Okay.
They don't. They have an intolerance, but they don't have an allergy. So the difference between an intolerance and an allergy is, depending on the level of your intolerance, you may wish that you were dead. If you have an allergy, there's a good chance you will die. So now thankfully my allergy is gluten and it's lactose. So it's more, I have a lactose intolerance. It won't kill me, but for about a day after, I'm going to wish I was dead because I'm sitting in the bathroom the whole time and feel terrible. I have an almond allergy that could kill me. But the celiac disease over time, that can, because that has a huge impact on the immune system. So, but that is also, celiac is an allergy, but it's not to the level of like an almond or a nut allergy, that kind of thing. It's just it's a different reaction, a delayed reaction. But I will say that when I went to Israel and we were traveling through those areas, that's one of the best, most friendly places for gluten and dairy allergies. And that's because of their dietary laws. They don't do any dairy in the evening. So pretty much anything you eat in the evening, is not going to have any type of milk in it, including desserts. So
and then they separate their foods in their refrigerators, right?
Right.
Automatically.
Yeah. And it's of course it's Mediterranean based food. So but that was fantastic. Every culture's got like different pluses and minuses. Italy would be really hard for me, but I know that they also have, Italy is one of the best when it comes to gluten-free items. They have their own literally grocery stores that are just gluten-free.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's its own little thing. It is what it is.
I love that we went off on our tangent.
I know.
I learned about things.
I do want to ask you guys though, are you biters of string cheese? Or are you pullers of the string cheese?
I'm a puller of string cheese. I like to pull it.
As an adult, I have started to bite string cheese, but I will say, first of all, I have a severe, like,
no,
I wasn't gonna say allergy. I don't like touching things with, like, I will go really hard out of my way not to touch something that I'm about to eat. I will hold something in the package so I don't touch it, like spread my like, especially if I'm out and about. So when you peel a string cheese and you bite it, you can still hold the bottom of the wrapper without, because half the I wash my hands, that's not an issue. But like if I'm out and about, like let's say I have string cheese in my purse and I'm eating it as a snack, if I've been touching the steering wheel in my car and like opening door handles and things, I'm not going to put my hand on the string cheese to peel it. So, but I've been getting laughing cow wedges anyway. So I haven't bought string cheese in a long time. So it's not an issue.
Fine.
Candice is never speaking to me again.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Like I said, you're like the person who bites, who doesn't break off the Kit Kats. Because
I would never do that. I'm not a sociopath.
That's a sociopathic thing, right?
I would not do that. That's different.
Wouldn't that be the same logic? Because you don't have to break them off.
Because I feel like it's like when you're a kid, you eat string cheese like that. When you're older, you don't. It's a little different. It's not like it's in sections. It's not like already peeled. Like
end the episode.
Rikki's like, when I was a child, I pulled my string cheese. When I'm a grown up, we bite it.
When I'm a child, I ate as a child, and now that I'm adult, I'm worried about.
I do adult things,
biblical.
Which means
it's biblical.
I can bite my string cheese.
I guess I'm still a child then.
Yes, that's right. You and me both, Erin.
Okay, we're bringing this episode to an end.
Yes.
Okay, but seriously, we'd love if you've got some food rules, like the do's and the don'ts. I think I kind of feel like when it comes to buffet or potlucks, you're either 100% in for a potluck or 100% out.
Yeah.
Before the food allergies, I was 100% out for the potluck because I don't know what nobody's doing in their kitchen. I trust my kitchen.
Yeah. I've seen too many memes, and I've experienced too many things with watching people on FaceTime when they don't know that I'm like paying close attention, and I'm like, no,
yeah,
okay.
I think for me, the biggest questions I would love to find out from the real WWE Talk community: are they biters or pullers on the string cheese?
Yeah,
I
Because
think
we need
that
to know who to kick out of the group. I mean, we have to.
well, we just need to know who's going to go sit on Rikki's couch or who's
Yeah.
sitting on our couch.
Go on
We
the
can
court,
have
go on the court.
sections.
There you go.
That's right. That's it. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're dumb. I love it.
It's the truth. Can I just
Have a
say, I
good-
wanted to thank, we have people who I know we have shouted out, and we're so appreciative to those who have become monthly subscribers.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But we also have those who have been making one-time donations. And I know that we don't really mention that as much, but we're unable. I don't want to like shout out your email addresses because, not sending out people's personal information, but we want to let you know we see you and we appreciate that. You can see that in our show notes, but for those who aren't interested in giving a one-time donation, we always say it's like giving us maybe a cup of coffee because it does cost to do the podcast. And we all have day jobs. And we're very appreciative to those who kind of give to help us to keep content coming to you. But for those who can't do it monthly, the one-time donation link has really, really, really been a blessing. And we're really, really excited to have it. And I just wanted to publicly say thank you. We've had about, to date, maybe 5-10 people this month who just said, we just want to give you a donation. And we appreciate it so much. So just wanted to say that before.
Which I know we just went, that's awesome. Like it's a surprise, but Candice is the one, like all of us have our roles.
Yeah.
Candice, she's the one, she's our finance queen. And so
because it gets it, but it's a blessing every time that it comes through, because honestly, we know that, we don't take anything for granted, especially in this economy, and the fact that we have such dedicated listeners who really want to support what we're doing. That's why we try to do our best to be here before you. One, I kind of like these ladies, so I'm willing to do it. But like I said, we don't know your names because it doesn't tell us the name, but we do see your email addresses and we do see the donations, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Yeah, thank you.
On that note, we wish you a great week. And if you want to participate, check out the show notes. All of that's in there. And come over to the Real WW Talk Facebook group and tell us if you're a biter or a puller. Okay.
Let us know. It's serious.
That's all we want to even know.
Yes.
All right. Have a great week.